I first learned my second language was in grade 1 at 6 years old in extracurriculum courses because we only have formal English learning in grade 3 and many parents, including mine, think it is too late. We need to pay attention to many aspects of language at the beginning at the same time, such as the pronunciation of the words, the meaning of those words, grammar points, and so many words to remember. The differences between first and second language acquisition is obvious. First language is a learned independent, unconscious, and passive process. In normal condition, humans get in contact with their first language when they are still baby, listening to the speech melody, sounds, words, and sentence structure of people around us, without even know what is language. Before we can even read or write a single word in our first language, we already use an impressive vocabulary and many important grammar structures. Many of them are not complex and just closely related to daily life. But it is enough for children to comprehend some easy stories or communicate with others without confusion. Some people never learn how to read or write correctly, but still speak their first language fluently. We also learn our first language in school, but it would put more emphasis on understanding some morals or writing a word. Second language learning, on the other hand, is an active, conscious process. We need to learn vocabulary and grammar from zero in order to achieve the goal. Most people will need an instructor, either a teacher at school or the instructions of a course book or audio courses. If we ever want to achieve fluency or near fluency in a second language, it requires years of studying, practicing, and maybe a long stay in another country. Many people will never reach anywhere near fluency like a second language speaker due to their own habits cultivated in first language acquisition or their own dialects. There are many factors affect my acquisition of English. First of all, it is a totally different language system from my native language, and everything is new. The characters, the sentence structure. I have also learned a little Japanese, and I have to admit that it is much easier to learn for Chinese people, at least at the very beginning. Besides, at grade 1, I have no clues of what studying abroad is like or the enjoyment of traveling abroad alone. My only motivation was to get a better mark in the test in order to get a reward from my parents or to escape a reprimand from them. Maybe I will get a new toy if I get a higher mark. However, maybe I lack certain ability of learning language, so I seldom get rewards, and learning a second language would be a painful task. Speaking of age, I'm a late speaker, as my mother always said, and I learned English at 6 when I would still have some problems in expressing clearly in first language or thinking logically, and I lack the ability of restrain myself, organize my time, and I tend to be lazy. Besides, it is not a period that we will imitate others' sound unconsciously perfectly. All this made learning English difficult for me. The other thing affects me is my personality. I am very shy and dare not to ask or answer questions, afraid of making mistakes. I did not realize that I still also lacked the ability of understanding those grammar structures at that time because I was just following teachers' answers without thinking about my own answers. Based on my own experience, I want to create an enjoyable learning atmosphere, so I may use some techniques to increase students' output ability when they are learning a certain language, such as retelling a story, writing a short word about one interesting thing in order to increase the encounters of vocabulary and enhance the ability to use those vocabulary and grammar structure. Meanwhile, in order to increase students' interest in learning certain language, I would find some interesting materials, maybe lyrics of songs, part of some famous movie, maybe from the Marvels, to teach them the sentence structure or words, which would also be used to increase their listening ability instead of listening to some boring documentaries or academic lectures because they are so difficult and require a large amount of technical words, which are not necessary in our daily life and we seldom encounter them. Video and images are also good techniques to prevent the class from dull as well.